This is my take on a DPS tier list as a person who has been staying in eternity and have casted and hosted the pros tournament. What I'll say is this: when you're climbing ranks, it's not always the case to say, oh, I'm going to trust a pro tier list, because at the end of the day, you're not playing anything like them. But what I will follow that up with is that if you want to be the best, you got to try to think like the best. Everyone's got a different take, but I'll give you my take. And this one I'm not wrong about, for sure. Hella is by far the best DPS in the game. If she wasn't played on the opposition during the tournament, it was like a well-known fact that the other team was in trouble. It's by far the best DPS. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's the next one I want to list. Another bannable or must-have, especially if they have two Vanguards, Wolverine. Wolverine and Hella, these two by far the most value. If you didn't know, in the tournament, you could, after you ban the first wave, each team chooses somebody that is unbannable, that is allowed to stay. And it was Bucky, especially with 100 Thieves, almost every single time. And they won the tournament, and Bucky got so much value. Bucky is a better Punisher because the pros see it as, if there's a rocket, you go unlimited ammo with Bucky, you can still take out Groot shields, you get armor every time you use an ability, and your ult is way better. They said Bucky over Punisher always, okay? Two more that are in terms of like meta that I would put up here, and that is going to be Star-Lord, who is insanely strong, especially with Guardians res comp, and Warlock's in a really good spot. Makes him busted. He was seen a ton in the tournament. Up there with Bucky, these four. The Star-Lord bubble doing a spin over your head and getting alt charge is like meta as can be right now. One thing I didn't mention, which I should mention, is Star-Lord, guys, you use your E button, your spin to win, and you have Magneto bubble him off cooldown. Star-Lord will get his ult insanely quick, and then pop his Q as fast as possible, do that rinse repeat. And then when Luna was left through the bans, I'll put Namor up here, because Namor was another one of those picks. These five are the best DPSs according to the very top level of the game. There's no question about it. Namor is busted. He's the best flanker in the game. Star-Lord with the res. Star-Lord does stupid damage and his ult's gross. Okay? Just really good heroes that work. That work a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and put Psylock up there. Psylock is close to meta, but not quite. She works really well against Rocket comps. And Rocket is more seen nowadays because of Bucky and what he can do to stop Groot. Groot's the best tank in the game. So there is some back and forth play. Psylock, when there's not two strategist ultimates, is devastating, because her ultimate is counterable like crazy with strategist ultimates, but it's devastating when there isn't one to counter her. It is game winning. And she's also really strong and has insane burst damage. So she's terrifying, and she like doesn't struggle nearly as much as a dive hero into Namor, because she can burst Namor's turrets in 0.3 seconds. I will put Hawkeye up there, but first I think I need to, just based on the tournament, the people that made it prior, I will put Storm up there. Storm is in a good place right now. The best flyer in the game right now, does a lot of damage. The damage amp is no joke. The speed amp is no joke. We saw her 3 total times in the tournament, which is more than I could say for virtually everyone else on this list below here. Besides one time we saw, one time we saw Moon Knight. But virtually everyone else on this list was unseen. Hawkeye is up there as well. Still really good. Definitely diveable. But dive is not in the strongest place right now. Hawkeye still has 1-tap potential. He can 2-tap the thing. He was really good into the thing, and the thing is strong right now. So Hawkeye is gross, although I despise you if you play him. Just a fact. I truly do believe Punisher is on that list of good. The pros think that Bucky's a better version of him, so keep that in mind, but I do still think Punisher is great. It is a hit scan hero. If you have good aim, he's always going to be strong. I think niche Squirrel Girl, because she's actually pretty good into Groot. And she was seen once in the tournament just to counter Groot off the spawn rip, and was changed pretty quickly because the ultimate's pretty useless in the pro scene. Because I'm going to be honest, guys, your priority as soon as you hear Squirrel Girl is to kill the squirrels before you literally do anything else. Everyone thinks that, oh, I can just get this pick before I look at my squirrels, and the squirrels, and like my teammates are going to get the squirrels. Just don't do anything besides shoot the squirrels, and she's infinitely worse, but no one does that. I don't know why. A lot of Spider-Man 1 tricks. Like I said, dive's not the strongest. Works well with the Venom. Really good Spider-Man with a ton of movement are great. Hot take about Spider-Man, his kit is very easy, okay? It all revolves around landing one ability. The rest are auto-lock abilities, but the movement takes a ton of skill. The problem is, you don't really get a ton of value out of the movement if you have a decent Bucky who pulls you and takes you out before you move, or an Adam Warlock that just domes you 24/7 with bonds so you do no damage. Or a Namor whose turrets don't really care if you're doing all these fancy moves. They just don't miss you. You just perish. Let's keep it moving. I'll go ahead and put Moon Knight here, because the only time we saw Moon Knight was one time at the tournament, and it was very much a, Still trying to work him around Groot a little bit. Moon Knight's still good in team comps, but he got pretty impacted by that nerf to his ult. And it's got a thick body. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to miss him. Honestly, and this is a hot take, I'm almost like putting Human Torch in good now, because I've seen it's just really good Human Torches that are so difficult to fight. But if you have good Hellas, he is pretty bad. But you could ban out hit scan and make him better, and he could have good positioning. He could be better, but I'm still going to put him in niche because I truly believe that's where he is right now. But I've seen some gross ones, and it's been annoying. In terms of other niche, I'll put Magic up there as well. I think she was way better last season. I think they impacted her with the changes, which was seen in the pro tournament as well. She was seen a lot in the last tournament, and she was seen not that frequently on the pro scene. I don't think she was seen one time to push one third of a point in the whole tournament. I'm going to do this across the board. Panther has just been subtly hurt every single change. He's just like a worse dive hero than Spider-Man in terms of like using a lot of his cooldowns to get height and stuff like that, where Spider-Man can do that pretty quickly. I just think that he's just the worst out of the dive right now, personally. I actually truly do believe Fist is better than him at this point. I think Fist has a little more value. He's a tank buster now. He's essentially like a Wolverine, and he can be annoying, especially if you got a Magneto bubbling him. If you bubble him and he runs at the tanks, tank's life is tough, especially shielding tanks. But I should put Iron Man in niche. Iron Man is niche. I think he's better than people give him credit for. I don't think he needs the Iron Man team up anymore on it, or the Hulk team up, the Gamma team up. I really don't think he does. I think his buff to his right click and then the subsequent buff to his left click allowed him to get ult back quicker. I think Iron Man is better than people give him credit for. I do think he's not Lisa and Al Gaib territory. He's niche territory because you can play him. I think Storm is still a better flyer, but I think Iron Man is devastating. Even if you play Iron Man like ground Iron Man with your right click and you get a hard pocket. If you get a hard pocket with Iron Man, he's pretty strong. For you better be Lisa and Al Gaib again, we're going Mr. Boombastic, Mr. Fantastic. Guys, here's my hot take. That's not really a hot take. It's just the truth. I'm sorry to tell you this. Mr. Fantastic, everybody says he's not bad. You know, he gets a ton of shielding and he's so annoying for the team. I'm not disagreeing with you there. He is very tanky and very annoying. Do you know who's more tanky and annoying? Another Vanguard. I would run him exclusively if you want to do a solo tank comp. There is one person, one above all, that like hard mains him that is really good with him. But outside of that, it is typically considered a troll pick. I've been seeing more Wandas in High Eternity, and it does help Magneto, but I still think I got to put her here. Honestly, the Wanda Invis team up's pretty cool too. Like, and by team up, I mean you just ult inside of Invis's ulti, and it's pretty annoying because you have to dip even if you're in a strategist ult, and you have to shield up. It gets value, it does, but you need to have Invis. It's tough because I'd almost put her in niche nowadays, but I still think I'll keep her down here. This is a contention one. This is one I'll leave up to the crowd a little bit, but I do think she's probably down here. But I have seen a couple players now, more than just a few, that play her in the highest ranks. There's some people that play Widow that are insane. People shit on Widow all the time, but if you get a Widow that gets hard pocketed by a Mantis, and you have one of the best pixel hitting Valorant players in the game, she's really good. And if you somehow get the Hawkeye team up, her ult one-shots everyone.